MSI B550 board. That's it. So first is we need to install the processor. So guys, handle your motherboard with care. Remember the electrostatic discharge, and yes, that's it. So guys, for this is the CPU socket of the motherboard. This is the CPU socket of the motherboard. Then there's a marker there, a triangle. Yes, a triangle. And first is you need to lift the lock mechanism. Get your processor. And also there's a triangle in the processor. There's a marker, a small so you have just to fit it. Opening is harder as it looks. So the pin is there. So the processor has a small pins. So you can see the small pins of a processor. Yes, so there's the marker, a small. So when you're fitting the processor, you have to know the marker. So there's a triangle. So there's a triangle to triangle. And that's it. Okay, that perfectly fits the triangle, the marker. That's okay. That's how you fit a Ryzen. Next is fitting your RAM. I'm using a TridentZ. So let's open it up. So first is there's a marker that you need to fill this first, the Nvme slot 2. So the outer and the second. This is my first time in opening this great TridentZ RGB. Okay, so this is a 2 modules RAM. So per module is an 8 gigabit. And you just need to fit this RAM. So it's a G skill. So open it up. So there's a slot in the there's a indicator in the slot that you cannot interchange this. So you just fit this together. Yan. And snug fit. I've been assembling computers since college, so this is never do this. I would suggest, if it's your first time, is to read the manual and read it all over again, so that you won't miss any. And for the cooler, I need to mount this first. So the instruction says the clip has to go somewhere. So that's it. I'm using a stock cooler, the Prism. So now fitting the cooler is, this is the clip of the cooler. Both sides have that. So this is the ones that you need to clip. There's an existing, but if you're using a different cooler, not the red Prism, you have to remove this and replace it. I think I need to install first the M.2 so that there will be no problem. So I'll just set this aside and open this M.2, the SSD. So this is my first build. So yes, I need to get a driver. So good, it already has a heatsink. So the M.2 will just fit there. Oh, I forgot the screw. This is fitting the M.2. Oh, I need only one. Okay, so fitting the SSD, the M.2. Just need, there's also a slot. And the screws are included in the package of the motherboard. Just have to check it well. Perfect fit for that M.2 500 gigabit 500 storage. Okay, so this is the heatsink for that. Peel it off, then we're good to go. That perfectly fits. So next we're installing the heatsink of the processor. So you just have to sit the other side. Installing the heatsink is more challenging than I expected. Because the other side has already a clip. Okay. I think you need to balancely even this out so that let the heatsink settle, touch the processor. Okay, now the other side. Now it fits. Okay. So now it's already locked. Okay. Yes, the heatsink is secured. So our next is to connect this to the CPU fan header. So there's a CPU fan header here. Okay, so that's it. That's the build. The next is we're gonna mount this to the chassis. So guys, after fitting the cooler, I found out that this is not yet locked. Okay, so since the lever is still on the right, we need it on the to be on the left side. Okay, so it needs some force, but yes, that's it. That's the lock, so that the cooler is securely fit the motherboard. Okay. Okay, so now that the cooler is already installed, let's also install the wire. So the fan for the RGB, the connector is right at the bottom part, so I need to check it also. Okay. This is the Silverstone RV003 or the Raven 003. It has a top the mounting for this is the motherboard is tilted 90 degrees, so the IOs are facing upward, so that's for heat. So I'm gonna open this up for you guys to see. So the best case in my opinion is this, since this is there are two 180 mm fans facing upward, so it's blowing the air from the bottom to top because the warm air rises principle, so that's why it's the best. So you can see there are a lot of base hard disk that can be mounted for this casing, and there are also a 120 top fan blowing upward and a 120 blowing backward. So for this mount, my motherboard will be facing, the IO will be facing on the upside. So for me, it's the best because you don't have any, the air is going upward. Then also there are two fans that are blowing, huge fans. They are 180 mm. So yeah, so this is the case of my choice. Then also the back portion of this casing, as you can see, the hard disk can also be mounted sideways. So this is for the more efficient airflow, and the power supply is at the bottom. Also the fan is facing from the bottom so that the warm air can push down. Okay, so for me this is the best case, the best for airflow, since I'm choosing an air cooling system for my system because the case enough provides a good airflow. Aside from that, choosing an IO, so AIO or the all-in-one cooler, the sealed liquid cooler for your CPU, but that's not. Okay guys, so now we're gonna mount the motherboard. Okay, so I'm just gonna okay, so sideways, so you can see that. Okay, now that we have prepared the CPU, so the mounting will be right here. So you need to secure all your IO and the connector. Okay, this is the B550 with a 3700X. So you just need to fit the IO. Yes, that's a perfect fit, guys. Yes, then you need to screw on the sides. Yeah, just wait. Just get a bigger screwdriver for a better grip. So as you can see, there are two 180mm fans that are facing upward. And that's the magic of this board. So let's see if I have enough screw to fit this, guys. Okay, so two screws are already mounted. Okay, so the air is blowing upward for this bit. and there are two more 120 that can help it from blowing. So motherboard is already fitted, perfect fit, and look at the size of the case. I'll show you the case. So guys, this is the case inside the Raven. So as you can see, there are plenty of spaces that are from the bottom going upward. So you can see the air can go straight upward. Then with this help, go blowing also backward. So the video card might sit here, then its hot or warm air will be blown at the back. So that's why I choose to have a air cooler for this setup rather than an I/O. Yes, for an I/O the risk of leaking is there, although the performance wise is very far away from air cooling, but the risk of leaking liquids and soaking your components that could lead to catastrophic failures. That's why I choose to have a default cooler. Okay, so after this I'm gonna connect the I/O, the header, the ones that are used in HD audio, USB, front USB, the power connector, the reset button, the HDD lead, the power lead, and a power button. So that's what I'm going to figure out for this motherboard, where it sits. So that's it. Okay, so I'm still figuring out manual. Okay. So that's it. The reset, power, yeah. So it's all here in the front panels connector. So this will be figured out. So where? So another system fan below, another system fan below, 1, 2, 3. So that makes 3 system fan. So for the I/O, I will connect this to the system fan 3. Okay. Then power LED. JP power LED. JP F1. So the HDD switch, the HDD LED, the red goes like that. Okay, then the power LED plus is still upward. Okay, next is the reset button. The reset switch is just below, and the power switch is on the okay. So the IOs at the front is already checked. So this is the J audio for that. So this will okay. Okay, so that's it for today's build. So I'm just gonna fit the cables right. IOs are already installed. Yep. Next is checking. Okay. Okay guys. So for this build, I'm gonna install the power supply unit, the Strider Gold series 750 watts. This will be mounted at the bottom of the It is a very small power supply with a lot of I/O. So, yes. Okay. Okay. So that's secured. And the AC cord is already extended at the bottom. So perfectly fit for this build. And we're almost done. Then we're gonna test this system as soon as possible. First, we need to connect the power cable. So connecting the post is like connecting a very simple. So power cord to the power cord. This 24-pin power cord is the most largest. The cords are labeled with PSU and TSA dependent, so you don't need to confuse yourself in cabling. Okay, so that's it. So for the PSU, it's located at the bottom, so I need to cable it from the rear. This is a 24 pin, so you just need to mount this the correct way. Okay. So that's the power. So the motherboard power is done, and we need more for the CPU. So there are a lot of cables that are included in the just have to figure out what's the best. So same with this, a blue and a black connector. So there's also a connector that's near the CPU. That's a 4-port. Okay, so that's just on the upper left, if the correct orientation of the motherboard. So okay, just connect this. So now guys, we're gonna install the final piece, the GTX 1660, my GPU. It's a 3-fan GPU with a yes. So as you can see, this casing is very large. There are still 2 inches distance from the bottom. That's why cards are no problem for this build. And this casing is very good airflow. That's why, as you can see, the airflow. Okay, so that's it. Then let's cable its GPU. For the GPU, you need no, not this, but this other cables are needed for the GPU. This is a blue and a, but it's short, so I'll just figure it out how. Yes, that is the GPU cable. Okay, so that's this build. So let's power it up. In a while, I'll just fix the cables and check the connectors. Okay, so hi guys, so moment of truth is already here. So I'm just gonna fit the USB cable and the USB to USB. So for the keyboard and the mouse, plug. Oh. Then fitting the video card, the I/O. What? It's not going to fit. So maybe I need another cable for this setup. So, okay. So guys, so it's already built. Then I'm gonna power test this PC. So hopefully can plugging the monitor, turning on, plugging the PC. Okay, so this is the first power up for this PC. Okay, so no light. Let's test the power. Whoa! Yes, yes, the first power up for this PC. And it's running. So let's test this, but no display. Yes, yes, it's already working. Ryzen DDR-RAM 213 dual channel, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Device, keyboard, mouse, and device change. So F1 to run the setup. So okay, let's see the BIOS. So here is the first Tomahawk B550 running the BIOS. Okay, so the frequency of the CPU is 3.6 gigahertz. Wow. Memory, that's a 2133 megahertz, a G-Skill, so that's 8 gigabyte running a 1.19 volts of RAM. So for the storage, yes, a Western Digital 500 gig RAM. I installed a 1 terabyte, but it's not detected, so I will just troubleshoot it. So fan info, yes, the CPU RAM is running at a 1657 RPM. So yes, this is my successful build for my Ryzen 7 3700X with a Tomahawk B550 from MSI. So later I'm gonna install the operating system for this Windows 10 official version. So yeah, alright, thank you, and woohoo, that's a very beautiful build. And both fans are working. The 180 mil fans are working, also 120. So I expect to close the chassis already. So this is the first power up, and hopefully testing the. So you can see the Ryzen. Yep, this is new for me, since this is a much more modern motherboard. So if you like this video, hopefully you will join me in my video streaming and games. Okay.